Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. So for the barrel, I'm going to cut it at 4 feet. I've seen some that are 5, but I don't want one that's really long. I want something that can be handled pretty easily. So I think 4 feet will be plenty. So what we're going to build today is a potato launcher, marshmallow gun, whatever you want to call them. This one's going to be on the large scale like the ones you see out there, quite a few of. We had this left over from the old house in our rain collection system that we had. It was kind of to where all the junk falls into, and then you have a float that goes up to get all the little grains and stuff off the grit and stuff that comes off the roof first. So we're just going to reuse this piece because it's already got pretty much everything that you need for the end. And so all he had to go get was a reducer and a piece of pipe. So what I did was cut that at 4 feet. And then just one reducer. A lot of the ones you see out there are 4-inch to 2-inch. This was the 3-inch that we had on hand, so I'm just going to use 3-inch to 1.5-inch, and we'll see how that works out. In our camping gear, I saved this from an old grill or something. I will just drill a hole in the end down here. I think 1/4 inch is going to be about the right size, and I'm just going to glue it in at the end down here, just past the threads. And then inside, I'll glue a little piece of scrap metal or something to create the spark for the other side of it. Okay, so just drill your 1/4 inch hole in here in the end somewhere. Make sure you're past the threads, which is about that section there where the threads are. Anywhere in here. And it might not be quite the right size because it's a D-shaped type piece of plastic there, but we can get it in there. Actually, I'm going to glue it in anyway, so I'm just going to waller it out just a little bit. Alright, that's nice and tight. Okay, there's that. Let me see how it fits in there. I don't know if I got it facing the right way or not. Oh yeah, that'll be pretty good. And then I can just put something right there in that groove. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right there. So I can just glue my piece of metal right there in that groove, and that'll give it something to spark against. And then the final glue up here. So I'm going to go ahead and use some JB Weld stuff we have, and that should work pretty good. Just a little dab will do ya. Clean that off real good so it doesn't set up on the end. Change of plans here. I didn't realize that this has to be grounded with this end piece. I haven't used one in forever. I used to just use this for lighting the lantern, and it puts off a small little spark, but not enough to ignite this stuff, the starting fluid and things in there. It worked for the lantern just by holding it and clicking it, holding it against the lantern in the camp box. That's why we had it. But when I used this piece that I took out of one of those little, you know, green can heaters, you know, you just screw it on top of your green propane tank. I took all of this out of there, and I touched this to that. Then it made a really nice spark. So I'm gonna just drill me another hole right next to this, put this nail in there and glue it down. It's a 3.5 inch nail, so I'll have to adjust it with some, well, that's my plan, is I'm gonna put a couple nuts or something, some way to attach it to this, the back end of this. That'll be the grounded part, and then I'll just use some pliers to bend it to the right distance in there for the spark. Not sure if my tap will work. It looks like it's kind of chewed up at the bottom, but if I can get it tapped, it'll make it a lot easier. I can just put a bolt in there instead of a nail, instead of having to try and glue it, but we'll see how it works. If not, then I'll just go back to the nail, glue it down, and we'll call it good. Yeah, that looks like it's going to work. Let me find a better bolt though. This one's not quite long enough, so I can bend it down there. Okay, so I went and got me a bolt that should be long enough, and then I can bend that. We have this scrap metal. I think they came off of a hitch, you know, for spacers under the frame, and so we just saved the extra ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it just enough so that it will rest on the back of that piece right here for the ground part that I was talking about. And then I can just tighten the bolt down, and that'll tighten onto that and touch it, and I won't have to worry about rigging up a wire or anything like that. So I'm just going to mark it and cut it. And cut like a little L shape out of it. It's a little bit more than half, I guess. And then there. So I'll go back some, and that should make it sit on there. So basically I want to cut out this section here, right? And I'll probably just do it at an angle, make sure I get it right, and then that way when it sits down on there, it'll just be on the metal portion, not on this corner of the plastic. So I'll cut that out like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off the extra so I don't cut myself on it. Okay, and there it is. Marshmallow. No, yeah, okay. Ready? Yeah, go ahead.
Jeez. Gotta blow in it every time. Ready? Ready?
Yeah. The boys always like building stuff like this. It's just kind of fun. Make sure you help them, supervise a little bit when you're messing with this kind of thing, but otherwise play around with different fuels, get the mixture right, and have some fun. This weekend we're going to try a few different sized items, like see if a golf ball will fit in there, maybe make a little wad for it, kind of like a black powder or something, and just play around with some different types of ammo and see what we can do. And we'll try some brake fluids and a few other things and see what's best. Anyway, thanks for watching. Get out there and do something, and we'll catch you in the next video.